put us on.
Should have color corrected that little dark spot on my face. Oh well.
Okay, so let me stop doing what I'm doing.
And we're on. And I'm so glad to, no, I haven't seen Noreen in forever. So it is very good to see you. And this is the first time I'm meeting Monique.
Hi.
So I'm like, ah.
I'm here. I decided to do the thing and stop being a chicken. I'm here.
Yes. Yes.
It's not that bad.
I don't know. It just the idea of things makes me like sweat, hot, okay, panic. But once I get to do them, I'm fine. It's just like the getting up to the point. Uh,
It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Oh my God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
We're all in our living rooms. No worries.
Right.
That's the whole thing. You're in your room.
In my kitchen. But
there you go. You can get a glass of wine if you want to.
Yeah.
It's okay. Anything to calm your nerves.
Can you see my cat's tail? You see her little behind is on my counter. And I'm trying to be polite because I'm sure other people see this, but little girl, get off my counter. Get down. Sis.
Uh-oh.
Now you know what's happening when you're not at home.
Oh my God. Oh. Well, luckily I've been working from home, so I I've been here with her all day, every day. But she sure did just try me. She did, but that's okay. It's okay. Do her like we do other little children. When we turn these cameras off, though, I'm getting your behind, little girl. Get on my kitchen counter.
It's like, yes, little girl. You gotta start this foolishness now.
Right.
Uh-oh. The talker is coming. Uh-oh.
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 Oh, with the blank screen yet again. Oh, okay. Yeah, him, that guy.
Get him, Mo.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's talking too. So you know what's gonna happen now. But I'm glad you guys are at least able to make it. We're just waiting for one more person. I hope she is able to pop in. But welcome to Zooming in Comfort. I'm your host, Jermaine, and it's been a bit, but I figured I'd try to do this at least once a month because there's so much happening in this last month. It's just ridiculous, aside from the Olympics and all these little video clips I keep seeing, the craziness. And I've had some little debate on stuff that I think about in my head sometime, and I figured I can pose these questions to my people, y'all, and everybody out there who may be listening. So I'm gonna give Mr. Bold Expressions with a call. You see, you talked about your page, but your face is covered. Okay, so what happens now? Mr. Man. Oh, well, that was a surprise.
Hello.
Hello, Ernest. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hello, everyone. Noreen, Monique, Carl, Jermaine, of course.
Hello.
I'm so glad you can make it.
You asked.
Still finishing up and setting up. I'm going to start introduce people, since some people like Carl, he's special. Yes, I'm going to talk about you, Carl. Until you put your face on the screen, I'm going to talk about you badly. In fact, no, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to let Monique do it.
Just saying, I don't think you can be a fan favorite if no one knows what you look like. I just don't think you can be.
Tell him, Mo. Tell him. It doesn't work that way. Not at all. But that's how he feels about us. We're going to let him go. But until then, as I said, so glad that you guys are here with us today. As I said, this is Zooming in Comfort. It's a program I had taken, or not even taken, but adopted from another great talent and comedian, because I figured, I miss my peoples too. And having to talk with you guys every now and then and go through subjects and topics of the critical nature to the I don't care nature to the let's just joke about this nature is a great thing to do, especially to get relief from all the stuff that has been going on at this wonderful time of COVID. But I guess things have been like relaxing. At least I hope things have been like relaxing now, at least in the United States. I don't, it's like, it's off and on here in Europe and here in Sweden. But Ernest, you're in Canada. This is Ernest White II. Let me give you a rep on Ernest White II. This man is a traveler. He is an adventurer. He has a travel show called Fly Brother with Ernest White II that you all must check out. It is on PBS. You can also check out his YouTube as well, Ernest White II. I have known Ernest for a number of years, and
You've lived to tell the tale.
And we've lived to tell the tale. Yes, we did. But talk a little bit about yourself, please.
Let's see. The tweet version, that would be a little bit about myself. No, thank you very much, Jermaine, for having me here, and for everyone who's here as well, Noreen, Monique, Carl, as well as folks watching at home. I'm, as you said, a storyteller and explorer. I like the word adventurer. Sounds kind of scallywaggish. And I'm also a producer, a journalist, an educator. Originally from Florida, I've had the very great honor and blessing to have traveled to over 70 countries around the world, having lived in 6. And not saying this to say that, I'm not saying all that to say that I'm all that. I'm saying it because I hope that encourages other people to get out of your comfort zone and to go out and explore and be permeable. And so I'm also based right now in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where I'm the CEO and founder of Presidio Pictures, which is a film, television, and digital media studio that centers BIPOC, LGBTQ+, and over 60 senior elder narratives, which are all voices that have, always existed, but just haven't had the kind of amplification they deserve in film and television. So that's a little bit about myself.
Thank you so much, Ernest. Next, we have Monique. Monique, I'm gonna make you talk about yourself. I met Monique. We are friends on a Discord. This is the first time, like I said, even seeing her, and it feels like, we were already friends already, because we just talk almost every day. There's a conversation almost every day that we talk about. But please tell me more about yourself, Monique. Take yourself off mute.
Got that. Took me a minute. You would make me go after Ernest. I'm like, I am just a mom of 2. That's pretty much it. I work and I take care of my kids. That's all I got.
See, I don't have kids, so I get to do all these other things. Now, if I had kids, then I might be like,
hi, Daniel.
someone else has kids.
Oh, sorry, didn't realize it took me off mute.
I don't have any of the fancy, just mom of 2. That's it.
Oh no, fancy mom, fancy taking care of 2 kids, because I don't have none, and Carl has 1, and he wants to be on the show.
That's right. That's right, baby.
Oh, I want you to give him a hug. Come here. Give me that baby, Carl. You don't know what you're doing with him. Give him to me.
First off, I have this guy from the time I get off of work until I lay down and go to work. I have him more than anybody. I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't make me come from me.
He's for mommy. I'm not his mommy, but I give all the love and cuddles and love.
Whatever.
I'm always trying to take kids. So, bring me your children.
Y'all can't fight now. Y'all can't fight now.
Yes, we can. That's what we do.
Stop fighting. That sibling thing got to stop. And next we have Noreen. Noreen, we have known each other since we was itty bitty, and now he's all grown, and
Praise the Lord for being grown. So I'm Noreen, retired law enforcement in New York. Thank you. Thank you. I got my certification in life coaching, so I do a little bit of that. And I shall graduate as a doctor of funeral sciences in December. Cannot wait. And hopefully I'll be finished with my, no, forget hopefully. I will be finished with my boards. You see, you have to put the date on right when you declare now. May 2021. So I'll have my 2022. I'll have my license. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Whew, glad to have a semester be a little bit over, y'all.
Oh, this is true. Yes, you have been working very hard, very, very hard. And next we have Carl, the fan of all fans, the favorite, the man who has the best emoji picture ever in life, that will beat Monique at anything, who also has a podcast called Bold Expressions. Okay, go ahead, Carl. Tell us about yourself a little more, please.
There's nothing. I think you over-exaggerated a lot. I'm a father of one hyperactive OCD autistic young man you see in front of you, Daniel. As Ms. Jermaine said, I have a podcast. I've had her on a couple of times. It was great. I wanted to have Monique on, but she said no. I told you I was going to bring it up. But yeah, there's not much to me. I started my podcast because I wanted to. I've listened to so many people talk about different things, and I figured I wanted to get my. I've so many people talk about things, and I want to get my opinion out and views on it. Social issues, but more I've gotten more into things that I actually like, such as nerd stuff, just actually things that doesn't make me depressed. So that's been good. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun getting to know Jermaine more and Monique. Despite our back and forth, she's actually a very genuine and caring person. And whenever she brings up conversations in the chat, it's always something that it's always something that gets everybody in the group talking and actually thinking, and it's, on a different type of level, and make me ask other people questions. So yeah, that's it. And the fan favorite thing was just a joke, because people always say that I'm always down on myself. So I made a joke, and they took the joke too far.
That's okay. You do have a very nice emoji. Yes, we're going to talk about that, man. We're going to get you on that. But I'm so glad you guys are here. This is going to be an interesting conversation. The first thing I actually wanted to bring up, since I really didn't get, especially with all of you being in the US and in Canada, the one thing that I didn't get a lot of here was the Olympics. However, I did get a lot of it from Instagram, because I was continuously watching the Instagram of Leslie, who is a comedian, and she had a lot of feedback and film of all the Olympics that were going on, especially in the States. And my thing is, my at least this topic that I want to bring up is, I call it extreme sports. I call it that because I thought of all these extra sports that have entered into the Olympics in the last 2 or 3 years, like the ski boarding and all this other stuff that's like skateboarding, except you're doing it on snow, and all the flips into this and all this extreme sporting. And they've put that in and given it grades and blah, blah, blah. Everyone doesn't do it. Everyone's not good at it. You can break your neck, but go ahead. Those folks who can. And then, of course, we're all watching the gymnastics and watching Simone just crush. And then I heard that when she does an event, they lower the mark because she's so good at it. And I couldn't understand that statement. I couldn't even fathom the statement because I'm thinking to myself, well, yes, she's good. She's busted her butt. She's worked. She's gone beyond. She's got moves named after her. Hello. Why wouldn't she? But then they want to change the rules because she's too good. So I just want your opinions. I mean, that and it's in, and even with the track and field and everything else, but that in particular kind of stood out because I'm like, there are other athletes that have things named after them. You didn't do it. You didn't change the scoring. You didn't change how that athlete was scored. And because they did this thing, oh, well, if someone else does it, well, then they don't do it. But to lower the score for the person who can, I don't think is very fair. But what do you guys think? Because I know probably you guys have been watching Olympics much more than I have. Please, I need opinions. Anyone can start. Noreen.
There's probably a common denominator. There's probably a common denominator as to the folks whose scores are being changed based on those, the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
You have to start there.
Yes. I'm starting right there because that was the first thing that pissed me off.
That common denominator is always a thing, folks. It's a thing. Like, how long, yet long, how long?
Because go ahead.
That's like I get all A's, and then you're gonna say, "Oh, because you got all A's," and the rest of them didn't. I'm gonna give you like a C-, a B. Listen, I studied
reverse curve.
Yeah, like what do we do? Exactly. Because of the common denominator. I like that reverse curve.
Reverse curve. Please, anybody else speak up.
That common denominator.
How about them Bears? Because honestly, I mean, Jermaine, I love you. I don't want to talk about this because I'm in a good mood right now. So like, what are we doing here? Trying to like.
I just want to touch
we
on
know
it.
We know what the shade of it all. The vibranium, is coveted. It is desired. It is, and when it does not show up, it is punished. And those with it in abundance. And I mean,
I love how you speak.
Yeah, thank you. I guess in this case, like I didn't know about it. I just, did some Google research in the last 2 minutes. And I said, see, this is why I don't pay attention to the news, because, I'm out here trying to just show up myself, full of vibranium, fresh and full of flavor. And, just like, yeah, I mean, what can we do? Just continue being excellent, kill them with kindness and excellence. That excellence part.
Must it be kindness all the time?
I mean, I would get a kind slap across the face whenever I came incorrectly at my parents. That was, kind of it was the kindness that I received. So maybe just if we expand the definition of kindness. I don't advocate violence, by the way.
Can I speak on that real quick? The concept of being kind. People take being kind as to mean that you let people walk over you. You can be kind and still set boundaries. You can be kind and still let people know, hey, you don't go past this thing. I think the whole thing of, I think it flies in the face of what many people, they have this idea of, especially in America, oh, if you just put your head down, you plow through it, you work hard, you will succeed, you will do whatever. Yet we constantly see whenever we work hard, whenever we persevere, there's always the goalpost that we see move further back. The fact that she's punished for being exceptional. We're all about individual exceptionalism, whatnot, supposedly. but yet you see a Black woman who is successful, who's doing great, and then when we say, oh, look at this young Black woman doing something, oh, why does it have to be about skin color? It's like, okay, whatever. It's always about skin color when something bad happens, but okay, when something good happens, fine. A young American woman doing good. She's in her early 20s. She's doing good. To be honest, I wouldn't care about the Olympics. I wouldn't care about what's going on if she was not in it. If there was other Black people succeeding, if they were not in it, there's putting Black eyes, they're putting young eyes, fresh eyes onto the Olympics to where normally people wouldn't care the same way Venus and Serena did. But then you also get into, she had an issue to where she had to, her and what was the other young woman, half Japanese, half Black, was it Osaka?
Tennis player. Mm-hmm.
Tennis player, yes.
Yeah.
Both of them decided, I'm going to prioritize my mental health above people who probably don't care about me at all. And then all of a sudden you see all the people come out the woodwork attacking them and saying, oh, they need to suck it up. They need to do this and that. And the same people who were saying that she needs to suck it up, which, mind you, she's doing all these flips in the air. As we pointed out, the judges docked her points because the things that she was doing was so dangerous that if somebody with lesser talent tried to do it, they could potentially kill themselves, paralyze themselves.
Like driving a car.
Right. And so the fact that she said, I am not mentally prepped enough to do the things that would get my teammates, would bring all of us, my teammates, success, she's attacked. She's attacked by the same people who are telling her to pull herself up by her bootstraps, the same people who are telling her she needs to suck it up, that, she's weak and whatever. The very same people who, they get mad and they get upset because we tell them that they need to put on one of these. To walk in the store, I work at the airport. To go in the airport, you need to put this on. Oh, it's too much. I can't breathe. I can't do whatever. They're whining about this, and yet they're telling somebody who's doing far more, literally mental gymnastics. And it's tough enough to, because you don't just be okay and get into the Olympics. You don't just train for a couple hours a day every other week to get into the Olympics. She's won more gold medals than what anybody, and yet these people are trying to tell her that she's not doing enough. And it's just, as my brother Ernie said, is we just have to keep killing with kindness. I think she made a tweet that said, before, I didn't think I've learned what she tweeted. She said that I've learned that I'm much more than my accomplishments. And I didn't know that until now. And thank you for all the support. So I consider that a kindness. The fact that now she's learned something, that she's able to grow from all these people who have an opinion, who, a lot of times, as we are learning more and more, everybody that has an opinion, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's an educated one, doesn't mean it's one that needs to be shared with everybody. And I'm happy that she's at least grown from that, because, people are going to say what they want to say without even understanding or grasping the concept of what it is that she's doing. So yeah, I've rambled. So yeah, sorry.
Man, can I follow up on that, Carl, brother? Thank you. For me, just the idea of kindness, it's just as much for me as it is for anybody I extend it to. For me, rage and bitterness are exhausting. And it's not that I haven't been in those, it's not that I don't experience them. It's not that I haven't, had my times when I was, I was never out in the streets, but I definitely would let people know, my thoughts about what was going on in the world when I was a political science student living in DC and being followed around by police, having experiences that did keep me angry to the point of moving outside of the country for many years. you know, and then experiencing it in other countries and recognizing that the US and Brazil and South Africa really are just, you know, the 3 different flavors of Neapolitan ice cream, where you've got 98% the same ingredients and the 2% difference that makes the difference in color and taste. And so my point in all of that is, for me, kindness helps me get through the world. It helps me continue to excel, because otherwise I would burn up in a rage.
Right.
You know,
and rage makes you look old. It ages you real quick. When you see people who are so full of just hate, go look at all the people who have so much hate and rage. It's just like, it just does something to them. It's just like, well, no, what, somebody as old as you should be doing that. I'm 26. Like, damn. It's just like, it's just like I need you to let some of that go. It's just like, just a quick pivot. There was the case with Botham Jean, you know, Amber Guyger, when she came to his place and shot him, and the family forgave her, and people just was in the uproar. I did an episode where I was just like, you know, yes, people have this expectation of Black people. We're always called to forgive people, whatever. However, none of us have lost a brother or a son. That was their loss. So whatever they had to do to not let her have that control over them, that was not for any, that had nothing to do with anybody else. What your thoughts on it does not matter. You can still march, we can still hold her accountable, but they had to forgive her so they wouldn't be holding on to that forever, because that just eats you up. Why would you? I don't understand people who want to hold on to that rage and all that for whatever reason, to give somebody that much power, to give somebody that rent in your head, to where I've had times to where I was like, I'm sitting up here thinking about this person, upset with this person, and then I had to stop and think, are they worried about me at all?
Thinking about you. They're not even thinking about you.
So, you know, you do it for yourself, not for the other person. I can help.
It doesn't absolve anybody of responsibility. It doesn't absolve anybody of accountability. That's the thing too. You know, it just because you're being kind, even if you're being forgiven, it doesn't mean that there's not accountability. You know, it just means that you've released. It's okay. You're okay with things not being different. You know, that's, I mean, you have to be that. You know, what is in a lot of ways. And if someone's taken from you, or not even, I don't even want to say taken from you, if someone's transitioned, if someone's not in your experience anymore, you know, forgiveness is recognizing, you know, I've made it, I'm at peace with the fact that this event has happened. And, you know, and again, this is just my own personal MO. For the reasons that we talked about. But I do believe that when it comes to just showing up and being in the room and extending that understanding to people too, because those folks that are making those rules, the folks that, again, covet what we show up with, that has everything to do with them not feeling connected with themselves. That has everything to do with them not feeling connected to their heritage, to their traditions, to, you know, and all of those things that we do have because of being community focused, you know? And so therefore they're only acting out of pain. They're only acting out of trauma. Again, that understanding is not absolving people of responsibility and of accountability. It's just saying, I get it. I understand it. And these are the consequences.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is being a black.
It says, in all things gain understanding.
Said kill them with kindness. Stress on kill. No, I don't.
Well, and excellence. And excellence. I said both.
Right. And that's a good one. Excellence. You can't just be kind. It's like you also have to follow up with that excellence, because that's that 1-2 punch. It's like, not only am I going to be nice to you, but I'm going to uppercut you with, and I'm really good at what I'm doing.
Yes, bro. So and Trump.
Right.
Yes.
It's like, because I saw something about people getting mad because Jay-Z and Will Smith are helping people become homeowners. It's what we, the fairy tale of the American dream. and yet they're mad because they're giving people the opportunity to actually own homes. And it's so funny the times that people see. You got me on the rant. See, this is why the episodes that I've recorded with Jermaine, we've recorded twice, but they end up having to be 4 episodes because we talked for so long that I've ended up having to split them. Because like I can't have somebody sit and listen to 3 hours of us talking. But there was a time to where, and as Dr. King pointed out, they was quick to give out welfare to our lighter skinned cousins. They gave them houses. They gave them land to to farm. They spent money to teach them how to farm. They did all this stuff. And yet when we asked for the bare minimum, they're like, oh, you guys just want a handout. It's just like, no, we just want the same thing. We don't want to do better. We just want the same things that they gave you. All things being equal, as they say, they you have certain talking heads to say, oh, they want quality of outcome or whatever stupid twist of words they want to say. It's just like, no, they gave you this. Then you're supposed to be equal. We want it too. As Dr. King said, we're coming for our check. We want our check. The check y'all keep writing for us is insufficient. It keeps bouncing. It's not good enough for what you said that was going on, and we want the check. The check doesn't have to be monetary. It could be land. Could be the opportunity. It could be just a simple thing of leaving us the hell alone when we're trying to do stuff. Just a simple thing of going into a Starbucks and not being bothered, throwing away your trash and not having the cops roll up on you, being like, "Hey, do you live around here? Why do you care? Why are you so, when I need you for something, you're not here?" And which is also the super thing. We, as you said, just because you're kind does not mean that you're absolved of accountability. We want people who break the law, who bend the law, whatever, to be held accountable. That's all we want. And then they say, oh, but when something happens, they want the cops. It's like, yeah, because that's their job. Just because I want you held accountable does not mean that that when something happens that is supposedly out of my control, because if I act on it, I'm going to get in trouble. So I want you to do the job that you signed up for. I didn't pick you for it. I didn't choose you for it. You said that's what you wanted to do. And so I said, fine, I'm going to let you handle it. And then when you handle it, sometimes I still get in trouble, even though I'm the one who had the issue. Yeah. And,
But that even falls into the next thing that I was talking about with the extreme, when they talk about these extreme Karens and Kens, where I think this was an odd one. This was aside from that woman who was screaming and vibrating on the ground in that Victoria's Secret, this other one was odd to me because it just happened to pop up, and it was a couple standing in front of this woman in a drive-through. And they stood in front of the car in the drive-through because they felt they were first. But what they had done, they had like turned around or whatever, and the cars were coming in, and this car was coming in, and they missed it. They got out their car and stood in front of the car and called the police because of this situation. And I'm like, but that's not even a police situation. Why? And then it comes, and of course, goes into, that favoritism and the this and the fragility and the blah, blah, blah. Of course, once they came, nothing happened. They had to move. They went through. It's just as simple as that. And then, like I said, and then it was after that I saw the one with the woman vibrating on the ground that I thought was actually kind of scary. And like you said, that behavior of just leave me alone. Just do what you got to do and leave me alone. Just and do what you have to do, and trying not to take all that home with you. Because I think now, even though we still try to shake off everything like that, I think we still take it in. We still take it home with us, and it still sits with us at times. And I think that to me is like a biggest word, because it's a lot of some people after a while, they can't handle it, they explode, and then something else happens, or we concede to that this is what's going to happen and there's nothing I can do about it because this is going to be how things are. So it's even to a matter of even that kind of choice, and to the point of saying to be kind, but just because you're being kind does not mean you're conceding to anything that's happening inside the situation. And with those two incidents, and even with the Olympics and everything else, it's just exactly what you're saying, Ernest, and exactly what you're saying, Carl. And it ultimately comes to a point of respect for yourself. For yourself, like Ernest said, I just want to be me and go about my business and do what I need to do. Ernest is going to get on a plane and go like to Barcelona. Otherwise, other us going to be home. But and Madigan, you are here. I'm glad you were here. This is Madigan. She has popped in, thank goodness. I've known Maddie for as long as I've known Noreen, maybe a couple of years less. We went to school together since elementary school, and she has a business called Maddie's Munchies. And please tell us about Maddie's Munchies.
Maddie's Munchies is a Whole Foods.
And introduce yourself again if you'd like.
Catering. So I do personal chef, food orders, anybody with any special dietary needs. That's all based in whole foods and a whole food approach.
Cool. And I think you need to actually, I don't know, if come closer or something, because you sound really tiny and far away.
Yeah, I know. My sound quality is really kind of yucky right
now. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but here, you get a good close up of my face. Yeah.
All right, no problem.
All right. Hello.
No problem. No problem.
You look marvelous, by the way.
But I'm glad you were able to come in and be a part of us. And okay, so everyone just take a deep breath in and out. We're gonna be all right now. But the first thing actually I like, one of the things I want to talk about, especially since Ernest is here. There's always, these last 6, 7, 8 years, we've always had this boom of travel, especially with people from the US coming to Europe. And as I said, Ernest has a travel show called Fly Brother with Ernest White II. And he has been, as you said, all over the joint in 70. Is it 70? 70 countries.
70 even, yes.
70 even.
Nice round 70.
And I wanted to, I think something that I think I'd like us all to hear, since all of us don't travel, as some of us don't travel as much, some of us want to start traveling. Tell us about how you began your traveling, what made you travel, what made you start traveling, and then ultimately come to the point of, I'm going to start a show.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
So you want like a 43-year history?
22.
Picture it, Jacksonville, 1977. I'd say this. I mean, traveling is a running away from and a running to, kind of at the same time. I mean, that's what a lot of life is about. And so I suppose that's something that I really kind of came to understand much later in my journeys. But from an early age, I was always drawn to geography and maps and different cultures and countries and just anything that had to do with anything international. I loved it, even as a kid. I grew up in Florida. We would go to Disney World back when it was like $21 Florida resident special. And so we'd go to Epcot, and that was my favorite. Like, the Magic Kingdom was cool, but Epcot, because you could go to different countries around the world. And I was that 6-year-old kid talking to the 18-year-old, like ride worker from Mexico that was doing an internship at Disney. And, I was telling him I knew Mexico City was the capital and largest city, stuff like that. I would recite facts. I would watch. I was a nerd. And so basically in that interest, my parents were also teachers. So they made sure that I grew up in a house with books. I grew up from a very privileged kind of situation. And by that, I don't mean financially privileged. I mean privileged with knowledge and with love and with people who prioritized education. So therefore, it was always, you know, some kind of learning going on. And it stoked my interest in reading, which is how you really start traveling, you know. So reading and film and television and all of that story. You know, we travel through story first before we physically go places. And so that's kind of, I guess the ground was very fertile for me. And so I remember one Christmas, the wife of the preacher at my church, because I'm Southern, you know, go to church, Mrs. Estelle McKissick, who was also a teacher, but she gave me a book called Free Stuff for Kids. And in that book, you could order all kinds of little trinkets and you send off a postcard and get toys and things. But I was drawn to the one section where you could send off a postcard to the different tourism boards and get pamphlets and brochures and maps and view books. This is before the internet, obviously, for all these different places around the world. I remember getting an envelope from the Principality of Monaco that was sealed in wax. I remember getting a view book for Singapore, which was as big as those like books you got from the circus with like the poster size pages. I remember getting a guidebook to South Africa, apartheid South Africa, not knowing anything, but remembering that there was a, like on the map, Transkei and Ciskei and the homelands that were the Bantustans that were where people lived. I just remember though, there's the one that's really long that I'm not gonna butcher in trying to pronounce. It's just one of those things that stuck in my mind, that I had been witnessing this, not knowing what I was looking at. And I'm sure they didn't know who they were sending their view book to. And so, you know, those were the kinds of things that I would start collecting. Airline timetables. Like in Jacksonville, we had Delta, US Air, American. I don't even know if United flew to Jacksonville, but in the phone book, they had the 800 numbers to like British Airways and Air France and Lufthansa. And I would call and order a timetable. And Lufthansa had this bright yellow timetable that had flights to Lahore and you know, Dhaka and Durban and all of these like interesting places around the world. And I was just collecting this stuff to the point that my mom brought like an old rickety file cabinet home from school where I could start filing my things. And eventually I had the opportunity to, well, the first trip over, we did road trips, but not places that were really far. We would just go to Orlando or maybe Atlanta. But still, you know, that's a privilege. That's a blessing. Not everybody gets the opportunity to do that. Not everybody's parents have the ends to do it. Again, my folks were teachers, but my dad was a band director. And so we could like, there were band trips to different places. So the going, the getting around, the getting out and about, that was something that did exist, you know, in my family. It wasn't international. That was me. That was me coming along, trying to be grand and glorious. But still, you know, you have to have those things. And so my mom, for example, she'd go with that. Lord have mercy, bless her heart. I remember we went to Atlanta, and while everybody else was doing fun things, I asked my mom if we could ride the MARTA. Because in Jacksonville, Florida, there was no subway, there was no, you know, monorail, there was no urban transit system except for the bus, which I knew even then was not glamorous. And so I asked my mom to take me on the MARTA, and she rode with me all the way to the end and all the way back. I was in heaven, I'm sure. Bless. She was finding ways to be happy, but you know, those interests, I feel like were relatively innocent and innocuous compared to what kids are into now.
And then ultimately I remember when we talked, how did you get to Sweden?
That's where I was getting to. So in high school, you messed up inviting me to this and then gonna ask me that question. So I when I was in high school, I mean, at that point, we're talking early 90s, and I wanted us to host like a foreign exchange student. And so I asked my parents, could we host a foreign exchange student? And they were like, no, but you can go. So, I just can't imagine. I'm gonna ask my parents about the conversations they had about me like, back in the day, because I know they were like, what is this alien child that we got in this house? ET. And so I basically there was a study abroad program that was being advertised. They had a table at the mall. And I remember stopping by and asking, and that's how I asked them about, could we host a student? They were like, no, but you could go. So I did the research, got the information, you know, I did like I did like book reports on things that I wanted my parents to do. So I guess that's the proto PowerPoint presentation when you want to get your parents to like do something. And so I found out all the specs. I had a little job because my parents were, you know, they didn't believe in paying anything. You know, I could do all the chores and I made like $3 a week allowance. So as soon as I was legally able, I got a job at McDonald's. But I had my little jobs. And so the program fee to Sweden, which was one of the cheapest countries that you could participate in, were Sweden and Finland. You could go for a summer and it was $2,500 for all expenses paid, the flight, the family stay, all of that. So relatively affordable for a two middle-class household. And I don't know, Sweden just called to me a bit more than Finland did. And I ended up going to Sweden the summer between my junior and senior years of high school. It was 1994. The World Cup was happening in the US. And it was my first time really kind of being away from home for that long. And my first time being overseas, except for the Bahamas, where my parents, I'm just like another county of Florida when you grow up in Florida. And so like, it is just like going to the Bahamas and going to Sweden, not the same thing. And so it was, and I wasn't even in Stockholm. I was in a town called Ronio, which was 30 minutes outside of Luleå. Most famous person, Maud Adams, time of age. And, you know, it was way up near the Arctic Circle. So here I am coming from Florida. I was 16 years old and I'm in Sweden, in the north part of Sweden, also pretty sunny because in the summer, the sun is up, you know, 23 hours of the day. And there was mosquitoes, just like home in Florida. So that was about the only similarity.
Right at home.
Yes. But I stayed with the family for 5 weeks and then spent a week in Stockholm because I just insisted because I was one of those insistent kids. Annoying, probably. Don't care. Got what I wanted. So I spent a week in Stockholm. And, you know, really, like, that's where it started, you know, like it was growing, it was expanding, it was evolving. But that trip really was what had me thinking about the possibility of being out in the world and that I had a place in it. And, you know, after that, every opportunity that I could go. And, you know, I'd say my mom was generally very supportive of these kinds of things. My dad he had to come around to it. He had to be convinced in a lot of ways, just because of his upbringing. My mother had moved away for college from they both had grown up in Jacksonville, but my mom had left town to go to college. And then she had left with her first husband to go to New York, and they lived there in the 60s and all that kind of stuff. So there was a bit more of an understanding of what the world was like beyond your community. Mm-hmm. Whereas my dad hadn't had that experience. He went to college 2 hours down the road and then came right back, you know, and professional, he was a teacher, but at the same time, there was just this kind of not knowing. And also I would say generational viewing of travel as frivolous and, you know, kind of just unnecessary. And I get it, you know, I get it coming from those generations where historically it had been very expensive. Historically, it was something that required a lot of time. And, you know, folks, especially in, you know, the South, a lot of Black folks specifically were really trying to focus on wealth building, you know, on what was those traditional paths to stability and to success, you know? And so I came with a very much butting heads with that understanding. Go ahead, Jim.
No,
There's always more, so I'll just stop.
I know. But I can totally feel that. Although both my parents had traveled, so I didn't have that big a major issue when it came to traveling, except just to do it. Sure. So my traveling went from different places like Spain or this place or that place. But when it comes to travel, I mean, with everybody else, how much traveling have you done outside of the United States?
I've been around a few places.
You've been around?
A block or two. You've been around. You've been around a block or two.
You know, I've traveled out of the country a couple of times. As an adult, never traveled as a kid. We were working class, New York City, you know, 5 kids. We went camping. That was our traveling. And that was a big deal. But as an adult, you know, I've been out of the country, over to Europe a couple of times, and brought my daughter with me when they were 10 years old. And that was an eye-opener for them. Both my kids were raised, my husband and I do music festivals. We're vendors, so we sell really cool clothes and fun hippy-dippy stuff. So both kids were raised going all over the Northeast and into the Midwest doing these things. So they had some travel experience. And but when I took my child in to go to Paris, they came back a different person. Just their interactions with all kinds of people there. And we were there for about 3 weeks. We traveled a little bit north, a little bit south. And yeah, they tell me now as a 26-year-old adult that it has shaped their worldview in a way that their peers here in Ithaca, New York have no clue. Their lens is completely different. As was mine, you know, traveling as an adult. You think you have a concept of, oh, yeah, I'm sure something's different. I'll look up on the culture. I'll learn some of the language. But when you're immersed in it for a short time or a long time, your perspective of the world changes. And it's a beautiful thing.
But Noreen, you travel, no?
Well, yes. 60s, family, 2 children, mother and father. You know, you're always going back home. So Barbados every summer for the summer. I feel like they were getting rid of me. And then it was, you know, they had to get rid of us for a minute. And then it became, well, you went to my family. So now you have to go to your mother's family. So now that's St. Croix. So that was still considered the US, right? And more or less the Caribbean. Then we started cruising, and then it went to Canada and Nova Scotia and Montreal. I'm trying to think. I think I did just about all of the West Indies, but where I really got to get to go is to Nigeria. I'm going there. I mean, well, in February, I'm going to Spain and that side first, but I'm going to find my way to Nigeria.
Where should I find your way, Noreen?
You see Jermaine like, and you know you're
very much out in the cold. I've been here a long time.
No.
But Noreen, you know, we're deeply connected to people who can get you to Nigeria. So that's nothing but a conversation that we'll have after this one.
We certainly shall.
If I did know better, I would say that sounded very sinister. The way that was, it's like if you know, we have some people who can send you there.
Oh, I'm
just
ready.
Fill out this form.
No worries, I got you. I'm in.
See, you're
just short trick. That's how we got over here in the first place. That's how we got.
Sure, I suppose. You know, that's that energy that I was that my pops was kind of putting out too, like that fear. You know. Right. And one thing I do want to say is I appreciate that you both, Jermaine and Noreen, and I'm sorry, Miss Monique and Carl. I know y'all haven't talked about where y'all been yet, but
I've been nowhere. It's fine.
It's Baltimore. I think it's important to note, you know, people who are coming from recent immigrant parents, that is definitely a privilege to be able to go back to a place to see family. Or also if you're, from like children of the Great Migration, Black Americans living in the North, or it doesn't have to be Black Americans. It's just like, if you've got somebody to go see in a different place, you're already kind of that much closer to doing big travel or traveling more frequently or whatever. And I think it's important for people to know that even growing up in a place like New York, for example, where you've got access to different cultures, where you've got access to museums and access to growing up in Jacksonville, there was not a lot of that right around me. But again, going to a place like Disney World, and I know that may sound trite, but at the same time, that's where you would go and you would see people, groups of kids speaking Portuguese or Spanish, where you would see people from different cultures and hear languages that you've never heard before. And I remember watching my parents, both of whom grew up in segregation, engage with people no matter what they looked like, having conversations. My dad, who was the gadget king, the Sharper Image was his store. And, he had this the camcorders, filming the fireworks or whatever. And there's this Asian woman came up and just asked him like what brand that was of camera. And then they started talking, and that modeling of behavior of we're all human beings. That's something that I attribute to growing up in where I grew up, in a Black community in the South. And I think that's important too for people to understand. Those seeds of connectedness and connection are already there. They're already within us. So that's why I say, yeah, okay, I've been to 70 countries. I got a TV show and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like you in these ways. I just happen to have had a lot of experiences that allowed me to hop and step and fall into where I am right now. But, we've got these little nodes that are already ready to be explored. And so I encourage people to try foods that you've never tried before. That's what, again, in my own family, we got people who, what is that? Well, taste it first before you turn your nose up at it. Be permeable, be open to new experiences, new types of music. People who have stories who don't look like you also have things to say. And it doesn't mean getting rid of or replacing what what you have from that you treasure culturally. It just means adding to, because there's enough heart space for everybody. And so those are kinds of that's how I try to engage with people when they see me as like, oh, something extra or something that is, well, you had a trust fund. I didn't have a trust fund. I just wanted to travel so badly. I had to trust the funds. I have flown to film an episode of my show with 15 cents in the bank and barely enough money to get my Lyft rental to keep driving Lyft when I got back. So there's a lot of assumptions that people make about like travel and how their money is and all that kind of stuff. Trust and believe. I did study abroad to get over through, my education, and recognizing that those are privileges, formal education and 2-parent, household and all that stuff. I get all that. And at a certain point, you still have to take responsibility for your own opportunities as they present themselves.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You tickled me because my favorite ride in Disney was that ride, the It's a Small World After All. And it was my favorite because you'd see a different country. Yes, all throughout that ride. I don't know if it's still there. I
probably be just updated, because I remember when I think it was Space Mountain. That was also a really cool ride, because when you got off, you saw the things of the future. And you would be on a ramp. I don't know how many times I went to Disney World. I know I went to a senior trip in high school. That was like probably the second to last time I went. I know I went again.
For our senior trip?
Yeah.
Nobody told me.
Well, where were you, baby?
I was probably down in the village, doing punk stuff.
See? Told on yourself. There you go. Disney World, Greenwich Village.
I mean, which is better?
CBGB.
Yeah.
I had that feeling. Feeling you were gonna say that.
I told you I've been around the block just a few times.
Trust, you did not miss out.
See, I missed out when Miss Madigan like went rogue.
Maureen, thank you for that reminder about It's a Small World. No, see, like those little things too. And I know, again, say what you will about Disney as a company, but there were so many things that, like, just watching film, Mary Poppins. You know what I mean? Like how magical that is for a kid to watch the carpet bag and things coming out and then popping into chalk drawing and all that kind of stuff. Like that's travel. That's adventure. That's intrigue. That's romance, you know? And obviously we need to be producing more stories that are representative of all of the folks in the world. I know that there's just one particular type, but at the same time, like the value in that as a mind expander, you know? So anyway, I'm sorry. Ms. Monique.
Wish you got
tell us where you've been.
Like, what? I got 2 kids. Where am I going?
Behind me now. Like, I'm like, y'all hush. I can't hear the Zoom. Y'all be quiet. I can't hear.
And no, y'all ain't going to Disney.
Well, we have plans to take them probably within the next year or so. It was going to probably be next year for sure, but while this Rona is doing what Rona does, we're going to hold off and look again a little bit later and see and revisit it. It's supposed to be a whole family trip, and I'm excited about it whenever we get to go. I know you're doing blaming the refrigerator in the background. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Well, I hope all of us get to travel. I mean, I haven't traveled since 2019. And there
You
was
say
so
that
many
like that's
places.
a long time. That's not that long.
No, it's not long. Yeah, but for me it is. Because I'm used to like heading back to somewhere close or, you know, going to UK for a few days or even getting back to the States to see family and friends and stuff like that. And then coming back. I've just been here, you know, and it's different. It's different if you're going to be in a place, but you still can do what you normally do. It's a whole different thing. You're in a place and you can't move how you normally move. Things have to be a little more careful, and you really got to think about a lot of things that you have to do. I mean, even here with the Rona, wandering around, though a lot of people are vaccinated, for me, I'm still wearing a mask on the buses and trains and crowded places. Other people are not because they think they got a vaccination and they're free. That's good on them. I'm still putting on this mask, but that whole thing, once like stuff starts to settle down and travel gets a little, I don't know if the right word is easier, but palatable, then hopefully by next year, I will start traveling again, which is what I'm really looking forward to, because there are many places that I wanted to go this year and I have them all written down and I'm going.
Listen, Jermaine, I'm up to getting cruise number 5 canceled. They canceled they cancel them, I reschedule because I'm going. I
might have to hit Sweden for my first trip out. It's been a long time since I've been out and about, 2 years now.
Somebody, and some of y'all, one of y'all, any of y'all, even Ernest, though he's been here already, but we hang out tough when we're here. And the first time I think he was working like a madman. The second time he was kind of working like a madman. So hope the next time when he comes, it'll be a little more relaxed.
Yes, we hang tough, and we're gonna be. Yes, I'm coming. I'm coming. I don't know when, but it'll be when the money's right. I will say that, because Stockholm is it's on the luxury end of the travel spectrum if you're gonna do it right.
This is true. This is true. But it's a lot of fun here, that I have to admit.
Love it.
I am so glad that we continued this thing with travel, and we started talking about food. Because now I have a little would you rather kind of thing. And I want to know for yourselves, it's more like a which is worse actually for you, but there are 2 things. I have 2 of them. So this is one of them, is which is worse for you. Would you rather have food stuck in your teeth or an eyelash stuck in your eye? You talking a lot. You're on mute.
Stick me in my eyeball. I can't take it. I don't mess with my teeth. Do not mess with my teeth. It's my thing. The dentist is like, you are a weirdo. I'm like, dentist, you need a pick? I can't. I can't. Yeah, stick me in my eyeball.
Monique.
I'd rather have something in my teeth than my eye. Don't touch my eye. Don't do nothing to my eye. Let an eyelash get like, I'm like, oh, somebody get it. Somebody gotta get it. Oh, somebody get it. It's like panic. I don't even like to watch other people like put in their contacts. It stresses me out. Like, why are you touching your eyeball? Like, I don't think you're so. Yeah, no, nothing eyes. No, not with the eyes. No, I can't. No.
Maddie.
Oh, wow, that's a tough one because food in my teeth. No, I would take an eyelash. I would take an eyelash in my eye because I can fake it really well. I can just be sitting there blinking like, yes, it's fabulous, wonderful. Oh, but I look good? Oh, okay. But some spinach right there or poppy seed in there and nobody tells you and you feel like such a fool afterwards. So I'm like, no, I'd suffer for beauty. It's okay.
Maybe
it's like a back side tooth where no one can really see it. Maybe that.
Okay, see, that I would do. But no, because it never goes in the back teeth. It always goes right where everyone's looking at you and they will smile to your face and not say anything. They'll be picking at their face and like, no, it's got something in your teeth. They won't say anything.
Mine is a kind of split between Monique and Maddie's. I am weird about my eyes to where if like my wife has like some scissors, I'm kind of like, it's like I don't like stuff with my eyes. It's just like she hands me something like, I need you to put that down. And it's like, I'll take it. Don't hand it to me. Put it down and I'll slide it to myself. But as far as I'd rather have the eyelash because I can get that myself at the most, get some water, rub my eye, I'm fine. If there's something in my teeth, it would be something in the back. And I'll be messing with it for a minute and be like, it's really stuck in there. And then you do the thing when you go in the bathroom, you open your mouth, it's just like, okay. It's like, I still didn't get it. It's like, where is it? It's like, is there an extra tooth that grows that hides the piece of food that I'm looking for? Because I can't find it. And then I'm just sitting there just like, because earlier I had a French fry with Little Man. And I caught myself on camera. It was stuck and I was laughing. I was just like, I'm like, damn it, I'm on camera. And so I'm just like, it's like it gets stuck on there. And you end up looking stupid like,
See, all y'all doing it. All y'all got your mouth closed looking for something.
Yeah, I'd rather you like I said, you can fake an eyelash, but you just like, like somebody's old uncle or something, like when they're like eating sunflower seeds, like
Oh.
That sucking is just when it hits somebody in the throat. It's like, but yeah, I'd rather do the eyelash.
Okay, don't be hitting nobody in the throat, man. Ernest, oh, I think you want eye. Look at you.
See, he's doing it now.
He's doing it now, trying to find something up in them pretty teeth. I guess. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, listen, a bought mouth is what my dad calls it because he bought the braces. But I would rather have food stuck in my teeth, but hands down. Like things in my eye hurt, so I would like it's a mild annoyance to have food stuck in my teeth. But you know, I guess I've had eyelashes in my eye; they've not hurt, but I still don't like it. So yeah, give me teeth. Food in the teeth.
Food in the teeth.
And it's nourishment too. It's nourishment. And a little extra protein in there, a little extra carb, and a little burst of
How
energy.
big are the pieces stuck in your teeth?
Later.
Actually, there's not much that gets stuck in my teeth because I just it all down. So it's not even like a Hoover before I get up from the table.
Oh my God. All right. And this is the last one. Oh gosh. Ooh. Okay. This is something that you have to choose to eat for 1 week. In fact, for a month. This is what you can eat for a month. Either you can eat a hot pizza or cold chicken. Which one would you choose? A hot pizza. Like
pizza.
New York pizza. or just cold chicken?
Cold chicken.
I'd say pizza. I'd eat pizza all the time. I'd burn the roof of my mouth because it'll eventually, you'll get that, and you'll keep eating. It's the dumbest thing in the world that we do. We'll bite it. The roof of your mouth will be peeling off. You're just like, you bite the cheese, and then the cheese will slide off, and now it's burning your lip and your jaw, and you don't care. You're catching it in your hand, but you're still like, okay, and you're fine. You'll drink water. It doesn't help. Now the
Not
water
at
is
all.
rushing against the raw under part of your mouth, but I still rather have the pizza because when I'm eating that cold chicken, the whole time I'm gonna be thinking about, can I heat this up? And so I'd rather just. If I eat cold chicken, it's not on I won't say purpose, but it's not to me. Eating cold chicken is like you wake up and you're like sneaking chicken out the refrigerator. When you're looking in there, you're looking around, just be like, you got the you're eating the leftovers. You hear somebody coming, you put it up real quick, and you're just like.
Me in the middle of the night at Thanksgiving in the pot with my 2 fingers. My mama catch me with my 2 fingers in her food. So it's like, check it, make sure.
Try to limit the forensic evidence. Be like, if they can't get the full fingerprints off the tube, if I just roll the thumb and just like I'm like that with macaroni. I'm just like, I don't want the whole thing. I just get a fork and be like.
Oh, my mom will kill me. I'd rather eat cold chicken any day, all day, every day.
Okay, for the people who said chicken, is there a specific type of fried chicken sorry. You didn't say fried, you just say chicken. Is there, my mind immediately went to fried. Is there a specific type of cold chicken that you would eat over another one?
It does not matter as long as it's not burning my mouth. Once you drink something or eat something that burns your mouth, you can't taste anything for the rest of the time you're eating. You cannot taste the hot pizza anymore because you've burnt all your taste buds. You can't, you burn your mouth on hot coffee. You can't taste whatever you're eating after it. So I'd rather eat cold.
But see, that's the thing with the pizza. It's the roof. Remember, I said the roof. Your taste buds are on your tongue. I can still taste the pizza.
It's gonna get there. It's not. You're not gonna.
It's also marginally healthier too.
Marginally.
Depending on how you cook it.
Right. Some boiled cold chicken.
Grilled chicken. Grilled. George Foreman.
Man, I ain't used a George Foreman in so long. We're all about the air fryers now.
Exactly. Yeah.
What? Hold on.
Is that fried or is it?
No, it's not grease. It's just like I don't know how to. I'm not smart enough to give you
air and high heat. Air and high heat.
Yes, it's like there's no grease involved or whatever.
Is the skin still on?
Yeah, you can leave the skin on, or you can take it off.
Take it off.
No, I don't have an air fryer, so I
wouldn't. No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I need you to invest in one.
Oh,
it is awesome.
I just would rather have money to, go to restaurants and give enjoyment to some and employment to others.
Okay, well, you're employing the people to make more.
At the air fryer plant.
Yeah. Inspector number 47, you did a great job inspecting this air fryer. But no, I want to say they have a lot of air fryers that have like multiple functions, whatever. No, it's just easy. It's better than cooking in the microwave.
I think
it's better to reheat certain things. It's like pizza. Like you don't have to worry about waiting for the oven to preheat or whatever.
No, we just talking about cold chicken.
Yeah, I know.
Stop it.
Hot pizza for me. Hot pizza for me.
Right.
Really?
I like hot food.
Exactly.
This is true, Ernest.
That's it.
We learned how to make fire for a reason.
I am debating, man, but I think. See, I'm debating because I haven't had a real good pizza in years. Years, unless I've made it, and other to get back to New York and have a that piece that's hot and the cheese. Haven't had it. So I would
I know it's been a
sway
long
toward the
time.
pizza, but I've eaten much more cold chicken in the last year, so I have to go with cold chicken. So cold chicken is going to win this, but
What's the motivation behind these questions?
Well, I kind of thought. Well, actually, I read. I was reading something in a journal regarding people's preferences regarding certain types of foods or certain types of behaviors that certain people have in certain types of circumstances, and you can actually people actually what is that word? The breakdown of what your thoughts are when certain choices are given to you can also go further in seeing how one decides on even their own life choices. So simplistic choices like, cold and this or or the other one with, something stuck in your teeth, stuck in your eye. Those particular things also can go into the questions of the more complex things that happen in your life. Those things I'm not going to ask you about because it's much more fun talking about the simplistic things that are simpler and easier and a little bit more fun to talk about. But it also makes you think, because these are things you also have never thought about. You've had it happen, but you never asked someone, well, if you had to suffer with one of these things, which one would you prefer?
That's why I like zooming in comfort with you, Jermaine. You so smart. You over here playing mind games on us, psychoanalyzing us based on our hot and cold forced food choices.
I'm sure she
Notice her
knows
writing something down, and she's like, "Oh, so you chose chicken?"
Yeah, chicken. Yeah.
Mhm,
I got one more for you. I got one
Right.
more. I literally have just one more. Okay. Because when you were talking about that, I thought of this one. All right. And this is, I already know my answer for this one. Given the choices, would you rather have black licorice or candy corn?
Oh, and now black licorice, real licorice, not some fake flavor of licorice, like really
No.
good licorice.
Black licorice, black licorice, and candy corn. Your Halloween favorite.
Black licorice. Black licorice. I would always steal my grandma's black licorice jelly beans at Easter. I would go in her candy dish and she'd have this huge candy dish of jelly beans for all of us. And I would just take them out. And they were her favorite as well, but I would steal them. And I would just take them and put them on my little pocket and eat them all day because black licorice is just yummy. And it's so good for you. If you have it naturally, licorice root is so good for you. For colds, sore throats, all that. So it has a medicinal purpose as well.
I will make sure when I get to New York, I will bring you a bunch of licorice from here because that's just the pièce de résistance when you come to Sweden. Yes.
Okay, well then I'll go to Sweden too. I'll get double, one from you, and then I'll buy some when I get there.
There you go. No, Ernest.
Can I pass?
What?
I abstain. I don't really eat candy, and I was born on Halloween. And
this is very true. You were.
Neither of those are appealing to me, or like either would be just as repugnant, I suppose. For me, personally, myself. So I don't want to, weigh in on other people's personal preferences or make judgments on their life choices with regard to sugar intake. It's poison.
Okay, no judgment.
I don't like none of them.
Poison, Ernest. Wow.
I'm sorry, was that not on mute?
No,
but
wasn't.
if you had to, I know you don't eat sweets.
If I had to, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Like it really, it's
okay. We will put you at a tie. Carl, Monique, Noreen.
So put me in the same spot because I don't do have tos and candy. I don't even put sugar in tea. So
I don't either.
I just can't.
I'll call for it.
Neither, yeah. Exactly. Monique.
Monique put sugar in all the things. All of it. Sweet tea, please. From Little Rock, Arkansas. Sweet tea.
Oh, okay.
Tea, please.
Or just tea.
No, no,
in
no,
Little
no.
Rock.
I don't even think we sell just tea. I don't think we do that. Even like our cold brew tea comes sweetened already.
Sweet, yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
don't know. I don't want either, and I love sweets. I don't want that. Mm-mm. Pass.
Carl.
If I had to, I'll take a piece of
A piece of the top of the candy corn. What?
yeah. Oh,
Take the orange part of the candy.
Yeah.
That's the tip.
yes. Just oh.
Oh, that last one, Carl.
First off, I agree with Mo. There's nothing worse as a person who enjoys sweet tea, and I don't have to have sweetened tea, but just some type of flavor. There's nothing worse than drinking tea that you thought was going to be sweet that is unsweetened. Because I've done that before. You buy it and it's just you drink it, and it's one of those times where like you never want to spit something back in the container so much because you drink it and you're just like, and it's horrible. I would say neither. And I'm sorry, most of the time when you do these, I'll give an answer either way. All candy corn was made in 1934. And it's just been recycled throughout the years. All of it. Every piece of candy corn that you've seen has been made almost 100 years ago. Nobody finishes it. They just change the wrapper. They just change that little date on the back of the package and just slide it back out there. That batch, whatever box, however you pronounce it, you know what I'm talking about. You used to go to the stores and those little, containers, and it's just like you used to scoop it out. All the candy corn is the same. It's made by the same. It's not even made by different people. It's all the same factory. It's some little candy corn making factory in Minnesota or whatever. They're just like, hey, they're going to like corn in candy form. It's like, no, like it doesn't look like corn. It doesn't taste like corn. Is a lie. Is a lie in all forms. And I refuse to believe that my Jesus died on the cross for me to eat candy corn. You cannot force me to accept that. I refuse it.
I rebuke you, candy corn.
Right, I rebuke it. I feel like black licorice is racist because it is the most disgusting candy. It's just like it's like, come on now. Black licorice, the OG Tootsie Rolls, it's just like why is the brown and black candy horrible? I hate it. I would go for neither. If somebody gave me either one of those candies, I would think that they hated me. I would think that they just wanted me gone from the face of the earth. To be like, I would open it up, be like, thank you. You shouldn't have, and open it and just be like, it's like, oh, this is a blood feud. It's like our kids are going to have issues down the line because you have disrespected me so much that you hate me so much. So neither. I don't want either one. I'd rather drink water, and I love water. So that's not really a thing. I would have nothing. I would drink me a nice cold glass of water. I wish I had some water like Ernest did. Every time I see him drink, I'm just like, I should have brought me some water. I'd rather have water. Give me water. Water, no candy. And a cold piece of chicken.
I apologize for the triggering.
Yeah. All right.
I don't like either one of them either. I black licorice. The first time I had it, I was like, why is this even candy? Who likes this stuff? And then I realized there are different degrees of sweetness, and then they have these real sweet ones, and then these sour ones, and then they have the nerve to put salt on them. And then I didn't understand. I'm like, why? It's bad. Salt doesn't make everything taste good. It's just
What?
I have that face whenever I see dill pickle flavored chips.
Oh, that's it.
I
No,
do
that's
eat
an
those.
abomination.
I
those
do
I
enjoy
don't eat.
those.
Those I
sorry.
don't.
So you
I
don't
enjoy
eat
those.
sugar, but you would eat dill pickle.
I would eat, I would eat a savory, salty snack before I eat any sweet snack, period.
Okay,
my taste buds are aligned more to savory than salt. So I will say that. Do I
okay,
recognize
that I understand.
the hoodie macness, the hoodie magnitude of a dill pickle flavored chip? Yes, I do recognize that. Semicolon, however, comma. If the once in a blue moon that I'm able to stomach like a potato chip in a bag, that would be amongst the flavors that I would choose. And I acknowledge.
Quick question. You said chip in a bag. How else are you getting your chips?
You can.
Can?
Like those,
Pringles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like, come on now. Those are the expensive kind, the expensive tins. So I mean, that was my dad used to order them in the mail. I can't even remember the name of the brands, but it was those like really wavy, like kettle cooked. And he he would put hot sauce on the whole thing for because he knew that none of us liked it and that he was going to have his chips. And of course, his taste buds are burnt off.
Of course.
And
probably back in 1974 when
the
candy corn was 40 years old. Sorry.
Angelique said black licorice is the devil's shoelaces.
And she's a smart person. Listen to Angelique.
No, like I said, I can't black licorice, man. I cannot. And
Wait,
I
crackhead put salt on. I'm trying to wrap my little brain.
I'm gonna bring you some. I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna bring you every level of black licorice they have here in Sweden. You can debate it with your taste buds.
I'm gonna make a podcast based on salted black licorice.
Go ahead, baby, because they got them here. Oh my goodness! But thank you all for joining in today on this craziness of Zooming in Comfort. I hope you guys had a nice time. I had a nice time talking with you guys and listening to Ernest and listening to Crazy Monique and Carl fight with each other, and me and Noreen and Ernest and Madigan just listened to the fight because that was just funny.
We didn't fight much.
And going through all this chat and debate, I really enjoy talking to people that I know, that I get to meet, that I get to see, and just going through crazy topics and concerns and matters of the heart, and even black licorice, which none of us are going to eat apparently except for Madigan. More power to you, baby. I'm not with you, but but I'm so glad you all joined us today. Please check the description box. You will find all the info regarding college podcasts of bold expressions. I was thinking of travel, meaning traveling abroad. And Ernest, Mr. Fly Brother, please check out his YouTube channel as well. Check out Madigan's food, because I'm sure those people in New York would probably need this kind of stuff. We're gonna still hook up with Monique because she need company. Noreen, continue in your studies, and I know I'll be speaking to you soon. Everybody who joined me today, please subscribe to the channel. Check the description box for all the information for all the other people that have been here. I will be back in a few weeks with another panel and more topics, and hopefully topics that you guys give me as well. Take care and have a good evening. You guys stay where you are, but I hope you all return to us in a few weeks. I'll let you know. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.